Picture a man sitting alone in his room. No family, no friends, just a phone in the sports section. A man obsessively pondering the fate of the Yanks, Jets, and Knicks. His is a dimension of sight, of sound, but of no mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome zone.
So?
How you doing, Steve?
Not so good, Jerome.
Why?
Well, the Rangers situation is a little depressing. I don't know whether to laugh. I don't know whether to cry. Help me out, would you?
Guess what I did today?
Laugh or cry?
You may be happy at this. I wrote a letter to Mr. Dolan.
What? You think he's going to answer you?
I told him he better.
Well, you let me know when he answers you.
Okay.
Joe was telling me.
I'm going to fix the Ranger coach for you.
Well, here's what Joe was telling me, that Dolan, before the game tonight.
Who was at the game? I know that. I heard you say that.
Dolan not only guaranteeing that the Rangers would make it into the postseason, but blaming the media. Listen to this one, Jerome. You'll love this. Blaming the media for the plight of the Rangers.
I got a way to fix the Rangers.
Okay, I'm listening.
And the Knicks.
I'm listening.
First of all, it was reported on ESPN tonight that Burry may be back, and so will Leach.
Well, all right. We were talking to Larry Brooks.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed on that one.
All right, go ahead.
It was also mentioned on ESPN tonight that said we'll go back to after the season, even if they make the playoffs, which I don't think they're making. He will go back to upstairs, and you know who the new coach will be?
Who would that be?
They want to talk to the guy from Ottawa. What's his name? The Ottawa coach?
I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking.
And did you read this article in Sports Illustrated with the big headline?
I haven't read SI yet.
Page 80.
I'm right on top of it. Page 8?
80. 80.
Oh, okay.
And it's by the basketball writer.
All right, well, what's the article about?
By Wallace. Unleashing Wallace. And there's a little part in here. As you get down to the bottom of the article, read the bottom of the article. It starts with the word but. And then in parentheses, you know whose name is in parentheses? I'll give you 2 guesses.
Yours.
Mr. Luttrell.
All right.
And I'm telling you something, Steve. I make that to you in a heartbeat. And if they don't make that to you, I get the first pick. But before they do anything else, this buffoon, Leighton, has to go. So has the coach. I told you who I want as the GM. And I told you who I want as the coach. They are both available next year. And they mentioned another center in here. This kid from Brazil. I can't pronounce his second name. His first name is Anderson. He's 6'10", and he can run the floor. And he's a good three-point shooter. And then there's the kid, Chris Marcus, if they can't get the number 1 pick.
I'm making notes.
But I am hoping I would make that trade in a heartbeat. But then there's another trade out there. Would you trade Luttrell for Gooden from Memphis?
Drew Gooden?
Yeah.
Yes.
And baseball, I'll talk to you about baseball on another time. But Mondesi is headed out of here.
No, he's not.
Want to bet?
Yes. Who you think you're talking to, Pete Rose? Are you? I'm trying to think of your Ottawa. You're thinking of John Paddock, are you not?
Yes, I am. He was mentioned.
Well, see, but he's not the head coach.
Who is he? The general manager?
He's in their system, but the John Paddock, he used to be with the Rangers. But he's
in the minor league system of Ottawa, right?
Yeah. He. John Paddock.
Would he be a good fit?
Well, I'm not so sure. He was the coach at Hartford. Is this the guy you're talking about? John Paddock?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the Hartford coach. And
now he's in Ottawa.
That's right. He's with the Senators.
Is he the main coach there, or is he?
No, he's not. No, he's not the head. I can't think of the name of the head coach, but you're thinking of John Paddock,
right?
Right? Yeah.
His name was mentioned on ESPN.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Well. Listen, I think it's a little premature at this point.
They ain't going anywhere, and neither are the Knicks.
Now, John Pettitte is not...
And if the Rain thinks they're making the playoffs, no way. And I do not want that guy Stanley here.
Who?
Stanley Roberts. No way.
Oh, you're the only one who talks about him, Jerome. He's been out of the...
the TV keeps talking about him.
No, he's been out of the game since '99. He's 32 years of age. There's a lot of baggage.
He's a drug addict.
Well, that's right. So,
and I guarantee you, next week, we will have a new right fielder, and that will be Mr. Juan Rivera, because Mondesi is out of here for a guy named Matt Guerrierius. And I guarantee it.
Okay, Jerome.
Because Ken Rosenthal said it. The Papers Post said it a couple of weeks ago. What they do is they pay all of half of Mondesi's contract. Toronto pays the other half, and they ship his butt out of here. And the day that happens, I will be rejoicing on my seat of my pants.
Jerome, one final thing.
And Hitchcock will be gone, too, soon.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
One final thing for you. Jacques Martin.
Jacques Martin. Who's that?
That's the head coach of Ottawa.
Yeah, well where is Pan come in?
Pettitte is one of their assistant coaches, I think.
In Hartford?
No, he used to be the coach at Hartford. He's now with Ottawa. But he's not Jacques Martin.
Yeah, but the Rangers have to ask permission.
Don't worry, he's not going to become the next head coach of the Rangers.
Why not?
No.
It was mentioned on ESPN TV tonight.
No, his personality is way too strong for Glenn Sather.
How about Keenan?
No, way too strong for Glenn Sather.
Because Glenn Sather's not the right coach for this team.
No, well, I'm not so sure he's the right general manager either. 12:33 and 55 seconds, that's the time. On your Friday morning on the Fan and 79376
Sports section. A man obsessively pondering the fate of the Yanks, Jets, and Knicks. His is a dimension of sight, of sound, but of no mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome Zone.
Who's calling?
Me.
Who's that?
Jerome, how are you?
Oh, Jerome. How are you?
Lousy.
Why is that?
I was in the hospital from 12 in the afternoon. My blood sugar went up to all the way to 308.
What did the doctor tell you can do about it?
I told him, he gave me a new medicine, Steve. I got so sick on it.
Does he know you call this radio station? Does he know you call everybody that owns a telephone?
Yes.
And did he tell you to calm down on occasion?
Yeah, but that's not why I got upset, Steve, this morning. It had nothing to do with sports at all. It's the stinking medicine he's giving me.
What is more important? I know, we all know what you feel about with the Knickerbockers and the Yankees and all, but do you also realize, Jerome, your health is number one?
True.
I mean, we need you, and you need the Yankees, and the Yankees need you, too, by the way.
Yeah, listen, can I talk about this Frank Casolo article here?
Yeah.
Getting a little disturbed. I would take Jalen Rose for Screenwell. I take Tim Thomas, but I do not want Keith Van Horn. No way.
Would you trade Thomas for Olowokandi?
But he's a free agent next year.
Olowokandi, unlike Elton Brand and Maggette and Miller and Odom, is an
all
unrestricted...
those guys are restricted, so we'd have to make a sign and trade.
Right. Would
Maybe
you do
we
it?
get Odom.
Well, would you do it?
I think I have to think about that one.
Now, even though Olowokandi is hurt...
But they also mentioned other names in here. The guy from the Atlanta Hawks.
See, here's one thing about trades, and I don't want to put a damper on what you want to talk about, and I'm going to be all ears if you want me to be.
Please, bear with me tonight.
I'm going to bear with you, but here's the thing, Jerome, and listen, I've heard the same names bandied about as you have.
And Rasheed Wallace is in this article, too.
Okay. Listen, it's articles you got to write. It's conversation we have to talk about. However... it's an exercise in futility talking about possible...
And if they don't make any deals, I'm telling you,
that would be bad.
I want the CO gone. This guy, James Dolan, he is making me sick.
Take it easy.
Every year we go through the same thing.
Okay. Take it easy. Take it easy already. Listen, if everybody knows the Knickerbockers want to get rid of some of these players, so that and Layden knows
and
that
nobody wants to trade for them.
Well, is that Layden's fault? If he got the Knickerbockers, and not just him, but he certainly didn't help the situation. Maybe even made it worse, as we all know.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Here's what I'm saying, Jerome. He's trying to make deals. But I would not...
trying hard enough.
We don't know that yet. He has until the February 20th. But he's trying to do what you want him to do. But will it be easy? No. Nobody wants a lot of over...
What he should do after the season is fire the coach and fire the GM.
Are you with us, Jerome?
Yes, and I got other Yankee news for you.
All right, go ahead.
You're not going to believe this, Steve.
Oh, yes, I will, coming from you.
Because if you look up the Pittsburgh Gazette, in today's Pittsburgh Gazette,
again?
they want to sign... Pittsburgh wants to sign Lofton to a minor league contract, but but he don't want to sign a minor league contract. He wants a major league contract. So Mondesi is back on the back burner again.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I have a prediction for you.
I got a prediction.
He will be gone. He's going to Pittsburgh, and Juan Rivera will be the starting right fielder in this coming season. In about 2 weeks, this deal will be done. And if you don't believe a Pittsburgh Gazette, today's Pittsburgh Gazette says it.
Jerome, I have bad news for you.
Don't tell me they're going to re-sign him, because I'm going to tell you something. If Rivera doesn't work out, you know who's going to be here next year? And I told Joe this last night, and I'm going to predict you. 4 people will be on this team next year. That's Eric Milton, Colon, the guy from Montreal who plays right field, and Eric Chavez, who is a free agent.
Well, I've heard he is not a free agent until...
Read yesterday's Daily News.
Okay. All right.
He is a free agent. Drew Hudson, bye. Let him go play football for the Dallas Cowboys.
Jerome, say goodnight.
And then there'll be more. And then the Dallas Cowboy fan will be happy. He'll have a quarterback finally.
They should only go 0-16, Jerome. I'll talk to you soon, and calm down and relax already. The bottom line is the real mistake the Yankees made was signing a player they really don't need, but we know from marketing, and we know from with the international television, and we know from Japan, Matsui was a mistake. Rivera should be in left. I think Mondesi is going to start in right field, no matter what. Rivera certainly should be starting. I mean, from what he did last year, looks like there's an awful lot of an upside with Juan Rivera. But Mondesi, arguably, is going to stay unless the Yankees are going to eat, and Toronto, too, a lot of that $12.5, $13 million he's due this upcoming season. It could be, and Jerome's not going to like hearing this, and Mondesi is going to start because of the money, because of the situation with Mondesi being arguably, if you look at Bernie in center, and if you look at with Matsui in left, could be that Mondesi is in right as your best defensive outfielder. The Yankees defensively have a lot of holes and a lot of question marks. With those who don't have holes, we already know about. And Mondesi may be one of the better defensive players for the Yankees. And certainly, if you start the season, and I think they are going to start the season with him. Listen, one day you're hearing already with the Pittsburgh Gazette, and there's a deal going to be made. And the next day it's off, then there's a second deal, and that one was killed. Now there's a...
Room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome Zone.
And Steve?
Hi, Jerome.
I'm going to give you a fair warning. I was in the hospital again tonight. So
what happened?
If the medicine is still giving me problems, I'm going back to the doctor Monday, and he better change the medicine.
Can I ask you a question? Before you go on with Mondesi and the Yankees and the whole thing, if the medicine is giving you a problem, you have to stop taking it, and you have to.
The doctor wants me to continue taking. I got mad at the stupid hospital today because they didn't give me food until 5:30.
Why, if you're getting sick from the medicine, do they want you to still take it? Did you ask them that?
I asked them that. They still want me to take it. It's only been a week. And it was the same medicine this stupid Dr. Witt gave me. I'm going back to him on Monday, this regular doctor. But I'm telling you right now, if I get sick tomorrow, I'm gonna have a fit.
Well, you sound okay, if that means anything.
No, I'm just angry.
Well, all right. You're angry at the doctors and the Yankees, right?
No, I got some good news for you.
Okay.
Do you remember Kenny Lofton?
Of course.
There are two teams after him. Pittsburgh and Texas. And he already turned down Pittsburgh. You know why?
Well, they're a bad team. Is that why?
No. They wanted to sign him to a minor league contract.
Okay.
I heard Mr. Ken Rosenthal say last night on the other station in town, but I'm not going to tell you which station, that the Mondesi deal is back on the table.
All right. Well, you were the first to report that last week.
Yeah, and did you look it up on the Pittsburgh Gazette? Because I spoke to somebody from that paper.
And?
They said the Mondesi deal might happen, and I'm telling you...
He will be your starter in right field.
No, Steve, will you explain to me why they are not going to give this kid Rivera a chance? Joe Torre said he wants him to start. I don't care what you think. You are wrong. And I'm going to make you a $10
But it doesn't matter, Jerome.
Right now that Mondesi will be gone.
Well, Jerome, please, it doesn't matter what I think you are correct. It matters only what the boss thinks.
I don't care what the boss wants. George, if you're listening, get rid of that piece of garbage.
Jerome, don't create another medical problem for yourself if you're already having difficulties. Please. You don't have to listen to me about the Yankees or Mondesi or anything in the world of fun and games and SPORTS. Don't make yourself sick any more than you may already be. Stop. 11:20 and 49 seconds. That's the time on a Thursday night on the Fan. Time for 2020. A flash and update with Richard Ackerman.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Ward dribbles off the screen, lobs it as free well left wing. He's triple team back to Ward. Fires a three. It's good.
For one.
May have to have surgery.
You have to have it or may have to have it?
May have to have it. And the stupid doctor this morning had abdominal pains, and he wanted me to come to the office. The stupid idiot. So I went to Mount Sinai instead.
Well, I don't understand. You had abdominal pains. He wanted you to come to the office.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Well, why is he an idiot for wanting you to come to the office?
Steve, I was in so much pain, almost fell off the bed.
So you went to the hospital.
Yeah, and they said my colitis is getting worse. I got to go take one of those scopes again.
You have colitis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're talking about a colonoscopy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going tomorrow. This doctor's getting me mad.
Why
He should have left me in the hospital. He doesn't even come back into the room.
Did you ask him about that?
Yeah.
And
he said he had other patients. My ass.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I'm just upset, Steve, man, that I gotta go through this.
Are you feeling all right as we speak right now?
Right now I'm feeling all right, but I'm just annoyed.
Well, don't be annoyed.
And I am annoyed at Mr. Cashman and George.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm going to vent a little, Cashman and George. Did you see the article in the Daily News by Mr. Anthony McCracken?
McCarran?
Yeah, on the bottom, in the Yankee notes, which I got right in front of me.
Go ahead.
Mondesi, Rondell White, and Sterling Hitchcock are to be the most likely players to go, and the Yankees will give Hitchcock the same amount of innings and the other 6 starters. I'm going to tell you something. By the middle of spring training, Hitchcock will be gone.
Probably.
You know, we wouldn't have this problem in right field of last year if they hadn't re-signed Spencer. Because you know what Juan Rivera is hitting in Puerto Rico? I will give you his tickets and you can look it up.
Well, that is...
340, 15 home runs, 60 RBIs. This kid is a no-brainer.
And you know what,
Steve?
Jerome? I'll bet you... And listen for a second.
He has to be the starter.
He will be a starter.
When?
Jerome, listen for a second, please.
When?
Please. He'll be a starter, if not opening day, soon thereafter.
No.
Mondesi
has to go.
The Yankees, they didn't win the World Series last year. It wasn't because of Mondesi.
Yes, it was. He hits 235.
It was because
that's not cutting it.
It was because of the pitching against the Angels, Jerome. Nobody could get anybody. That wasn't Mondesi.
And you hear now Wells wants another contract.
Well,
he ain't going to get it.
Well, of course not. Not now. Maybe not ever.
And the only way the Knicks are going to be good is to trade Thomas to the Clippers for one of their forwards, like Elton Brand. And I'm going to tell you something. Screenwell will be traded. I don't know where. But he's got to go. They're the only two tradable guys. And if they don't get traded, I'm going to tell you something. When they don't make the playoffs, which they're not going to, that GM buffoon Leighton, if you're listening, Dolan, get rid of him and get rid of the coach. Both of them got to go. Those are the guys I want out of town. Hitchcock, White, and Mondesi, and Mr. Leighton and that buffoon coach who don't know how to coach for anything. I told you a long time ago. There's a prediction I'm going to make right on the air. If you're listening, Dolan, fire the GM and fire the coach and hire Donnie Walsh, who has no contract left after the season, and the coach from the Magic, it was a free agent.
All right, Jerome, listen to me for a second here. I'm going to be away for about a week. I'm going to visit my father. I will be thinking of you, and I expect to hear...
When are you going away?
Later this morning, actually. I got to
Well, I'll leave a message at the office if I'm going to have an operation.
Well, okay, and
then I'll give it to you, because... Well, usually they say if I have an operation, they're going to use laser, and it's going to take about 10 days.
You'll be fine. I mean, you'll be fine. But the bottom line is take it easy and get some sleep if you have this procedure coming up later today.
No, I'm not going to take the procedure for a couple of days.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because, it's hard to find a bed in New York City hospitals. You know that.
I understand.
You know how it is with hospitals.
The doctors know what they're doing. Listen to them, and I'll talk to you in a week.
Yes, sir. Where are you going?
I'm going to visit my father.
In San Francisco, where it's nice and hot.
No, well, it's boring weather there, and it's like 60 degrees every day.
And it rains all the time.
No, that's Seattle. That's Seattle, Jerome, where it rains all the time.
Why don't you go to California, where it's warmer?
Well, say again?
Or Florida, so you can see the Mets.
Well, exactly.
We're going to be lousy this year because they got no third baseman.
Believe me, I wish my father was in Port St. Lucie, but the bottom line is he's not.
Maybe you should go visit Eddie.
Jerome, I'll be
Ed Coleman there, who's in Florida by now.
Jerome, I got to go.
Take care, Steve.
You too, Jerome, if only he would listen to that. Let's take Scott as our final call on the car phone.
But of no mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome Zone.
So?
I've been waiting for an hour to talk to you.
Well, I'm glad you waited.
Yeah, no way I make that trade.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
This buffoon has got to go at the end of the season, Steve.
He
didn't try hard enough. A couple of weeks ago, Screenwell and Thomas were headed to Portland.
For who?
For Wallace and Bonzi Wells.
And
what they did? You see what they did to the Knicks?
I saw. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, then, I saw.
And I'm going to continue my conversation on this, and then we'll get the stinking George for not trading Mondesi like he should have done.
I thought we were talking about the Knicks.
You know what the Knicks are going to do? They're going to sign Stanley Roberts.
No, they're not, Jerome.
They need a center.
No, they're not.
And listen, with Charlie Ward, they have a buyout in his contract. He will not be with the Knicks. He has a buyout in his contract. They can buy out last year of his contract.
The Knickerbockers will probably get rid of Charlie Ward in the summertime. That's when
they don't have to trade him. They just buy out his contract.
I understand that, and I understand all of that, but player movement with the Knickerbockers...
on this Mondesi thing, they will sign Stanley Roberts. That's
No, Jerome, they will not.
How many times do I have to tell you that? And on this month,
Jerome,
did you see the paper yesterday?
Yes.
Reggie Sanders signed with Pittsburgh. George, if you listen, you're a stupid fool. I didn't want that guy here, and he will be gone. And then next year we're gonna get Guerrero. So Mets fans, I want him gone.
I shouldn't laugh. Why am I laughing? When the blood pressure is going up and rising as we speak. Stanley Roberts hasn't played since '99. What? 8 o'clock on the Fan, New York.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan, WFAN.
Mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome zone.
I promise not to scream tonight. I'm too upset, Steve.
I was still shaking when I went home.
No, I'm too upset because I'm going to have surgery next
No,
week.
Jerome. What is it all about? Tell us.
The gallstones are getting worse.
Gallstones?
Yeah, and this doctor doesn't want to operate on me, so I'm going to a surgeon.
Now, what are you talking? The doctor doesn't want to. Your regular doctor doesn't want to do the operation.
Yeah, he doesn't think it's necessary.
Well, do you want to get a second opinion on this, or have you already done that?
I'm going to go to the surgeon. If he doesn't want to do it, then I'm going to have to get a second opinion.
I see. We'll do that for sure.
Because these got to come out, Steve. I'm very uncomfortable.
I understand, Jerome.
And it hurts, too.
I understand this, too, Jerome.
You know, I was listening to ESPN just now, and guess what came over the radio? They had a nice piece on Mr. Stanley Roberts. And you know, there are 3 teams after him, and I'm going to tell you the 3 teams. And it was said on Channel 1 last night, and it was said in the paper a couple of weeks ago, before they decided not to make any deal, which they should have done yesterday. 3 teams, and then I want to ask you a baseball question. Toronto, Raptors, are after him, the Lakers, and guess who the 3rd team is?
You'll tell me.
The Knickerbockers.
What is that heavy breathing?
That's because I'm going to get mad at you in a few minutes.
Oh, no. Why are you going to do that?
I want to know when Steinbrenner's going to make a move to put Rivera in right field permanently and get rid of that idiot who I can't stand.
First of all, maybe that'll be the case come opening day. Maybe you'll see Juan Rivera.
I keep reading articles they're going to trade him. They should have had a chance to trade him when he wanted to go to Pittsburgh.
Well, maybe...
But stupid George didn't want to pay the money.
Well, hold on a second. Maybe Pittsburgh wants to see if...
Pittsburgh got somebody. They got...
Whoa, what was that?
That was your producer making a funny...
Oh, I didn't find it
Don't make me mad. I'm going to be going into the hospital, and when I come out, that idiot in right field better be gone. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to continue to write to that buffoon idiot Steinbrenner until he makes a move and gets rid of him. Alone. What is with this guy? He can't have... He wants his cake and eat it too?
Can I say something about Stanley Roberts?
Yes, and I saw him. He was working out. And even his coach from LSU... What's the coach who used to be with LSU? What's his name?
Dale Brown.
Right. He thinks he can do it. And I think he can, too.
All right, let me tell you something. Now, for the first time in a year and a half, now that the NBA trading deadline is over, first time, ladies and gentlemen.
And why did...
Well, wait, I'm not through yet. Well, wait a second. First time in a year and a half at least. And now that the NBA trading deadline is over, for the first time in a year and a half, we're not going to hear Jerome talking about the Knickerbockers making a deal for Bonzi Wells and Rasheed Wallace.
What did you think of what they said in the Daily News today? Would you have made that deal?
The Antonio Davis deal? Absolutely not.
Why?
For Sprewell for Davis?
No, it was Thomas also included in that deal.
No, too much. No, not for Antonio
Okay,
Davis.
I'm going to tell you something. They're not making the playoffs, and this buffoon better be fired along with that dumb coach.
By the way, what do you think about George Steinbrenner and Derek Jeter, Jerome?
I told you what I said. I don't like that at all. Leave the man alone.
There you go. We all agree, Jerome.
And Mondesi will be gone. History.
It's amazing, fellas. The Yankees can do something they haven't done in 50 years. In the summer of 1966.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
You know, Steve, I'm going to say something. I'm mad at your producer.
What, no hello?
Hello. I'm mad at your producer who left. I called you at 20 minutes
Are you talking about Matt Deutsch?
Yeah, the one who left, who's on his way home. I called 20 minutes after 7, and he hung up the phone on me.
At 20 after 7?
Yes.
Well, I didn't even know you were on the line. And he wouldn't hang up on you things happen sometimes.
Okay, did you read the Sports Illustrated article on this center?
I'm sorry, whose article again?
Sports Illustrated had an article on the center from Yugoslavia.
I got my SI yesterday. I have not read it yet.
Well, read it. He's the same.
I will.
They say he's actually got as good as hands as the center from Portland.
That the NBA is a different ball game, Jerome. Yeah, you can't count on.
I draft him. We need a center, Steve.
Hey, Jerome.
Yes.
How about Matsui? You like him?
Yes.
You know, home run.
But it's only exhibition. Listen, Joe, the Jets are going to be in a little trouble here if they don't sign Thomas.
They're going to lose Thomas. I'm already resigned to that, Jerome.
How about the guy from Oakland?
Which guy from Oakland?
He means Chavez. You talking about Eric Chavez?
As far as the offensive line? Yeah, I don't see it.
The Raiders?
Go
Is he talking about?
The kid, the rookie last year out of Michigan.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
By the way, Jerome, and this is...
And I don't want Richie Anderson back.
Well, listen.
Jerome,
must
I got you a
agree with
Richie
that.
Anderson jersey for a present. Is that okay?
Oh, please, don't say that.
No. And Jerome, by the way...
What's with George not paying Soriano his money?
Jerome, by the way, Joe is going to have Bobby Holeek a little bit later on for a nice interview.
What is George doing not paying Soriano his money?
He's not worth it.
He's not worth it. He's the best second baseman in the American League.
He strikes out too much.
And, Steve, you are wrong.
About?
I'm going to tell you something. I have an article here that was written 3 weeks ago on all the free agents in year 2000. No way Guerrero is going to the Mets. George will not let that happen. He will be a New York Yankee.
Don't forget,
and
Jerome.
I will talk to you after I come out of my operation.
When is that?
I'm supposed to go to the doctor tomorrow.
Godspeed, Jerome. We're all thinking about you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And good night to both of you.
Okay, and good night to you, too. And Jerome, with the gallstones, we'll be going under the knife, and we are serious about what we say, Jerome. Godspeed, be well, and come back with us very soon. You are the most fun, without question. Thank you all for listening and calling the whole thing.
Sight, of sound, but of no mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome Zone.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Steve.
Jerome, how are you feeling?
My side is killing me, Steve. And I may have to go back in the hospital because I've been having these seizures because of my mother.
Well, you sound a little bit more subdued and low-key than
and I want to
usual.
talk about Mr. Cashman, how stupid he is.
Jerome is building up.
You know, this buffoon idiot George and Cashman made a big mistake not re-signing Stan. I can understand Mendoza. There was Reminger out there. Their bullpen is in big trouble. I heard a possible trade of maybe Hitchcock to the Braves or to the Dodgers or Cincinnati. Trade him already, and I'm guaranteed. Did you see the article on Mr. Tejeda?
I did.
And I guarantee you, Steve, that he will be at third base for the Yankees, and Mondesi will be gone to San Diego. And if Rivera doesn't work out, next year you're going to see. Met fans, you think you're getting Guerrero? No way. No way.
Omar Minaya used to work with the Mets.
I don't care if he worked for the Mets. George is not going to let that happen. And as far as the pitching goes next year, I don't want Pedro here. I want Colon.
Well, we'll see what happens, Jerome. I think Hitchcock will be gone, and he's not going to be used. First of all, the Yankees...
Complaining already.
Well, hold on, because you know as well as I do, the Yankees will eat his contract to ship him off someplace. And I would say of the three teams that you mentioned about Hitchcock, probably Cincinnati. I don't see him on the Dodgers.
I don't see him with
I don't see him on the Braves. Where's he going to pitch on the Braves already? They're not going to take on Hitchcock. Probably Cincinnati, though, if the Yankees eat most of his contract, and they will.
They said
and I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, by the way, that Mondesi ends up in San Diego. I know that's been talked about, and
I want him gone.
I know you do, but he's had a good spring.
I don't care if he's had a good spring.
I know you don't. Well, we'll see.
And I'm telling you, Met fans, you can forget it. You ain't getting Guerrero, and you ain't getting Tejeda.
Well, I got
no way. I don't care if Minaya's friends with the Mets.
Well,
you think George is going to let this go by?
Yes. Well,
you can't forget it, Met fans.
Jerome.
Cry in your shoes next year, because Guerrero will be a Yankee, Tejeda will be at third base, and I'm telling you right now, Colon will be a Yankee or Pedro.
I like how you're thinking, because you don't really want to look at the Yankees of 2003. You might be better off, and thank you, Jerome. Take care of yourself with the gallstones. We hope he doesn't have to go back into the hospital. And as soon as Jerome started talking about the Yankees, he picked up a little bit, and we want to see him in fourth gear before too long. But
the Yankee room. No family, no friends, just a phone in the sports section. A man obsessively pondering the fate of the Yanks, Jets, and Knicks. His is a dimension of sight, of sound, but of no mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome Zone.
I'll tell you this, you can't be as angry this morning as Joe was coming into work, as Joe is as we speak.
You want to bet?
You cannot be as upset. Your Yankees, you got to be upset about Jeter. No question about that.
That was a dirty play.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Huckleby is in a situation he has never been in before, as you heard from Swing.
That was a football play.
It was you do what you can do when you're out of your comfort zone.
And I'm going to tell you something.
You're not talking about a third baseman.
Don't be surprised if the Yankees out for the season, they go after Tejeda and put him at third base.
That may be.
Or the scout.
That may be.
Don't be surprised. George makes a move on that. And when he gets at third base next year, I'm going to make you eat your words, because you're going to owe me $10, Steve.
Okay, but here's the bottom line. Why do ball players slide head first?
Because they're dumb and stupid.
Yes.
But that was a football play and a dirty play, and no one's going to tell me different.
Huckleby doesn't...
I don't care. Huckleby. And that pitcher should have been suspended. He should have never pitched that game.
Who are you talking?
I'm talking about the pitcher on Toronto.
Oh.
He should have been suspended.
You're talking...
You saw the riot he caused.
No.
Not in this game, but against Philadelphia.
And this is with the Yankees winning that Jerome is sounding like this.
Yeah, and leave Matsui alone, Toronto fans. I hope they sweep this series.
They ought to sweep the American League East.
But if Jeter's not able to play for the season, I'm going to tell you right now.
No, he won't be out for the season.
Don't be surprised if George makes a move for Vazquez or Tejeda, and then when next year comes, Tejeda will be at third, and in right field, Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, he will be. He'll be in right field, but for the Mets.
Oh.
Mr. Guerrero.
I don't believe you. Is our bet still on?
He'll be with the Mets next season.
Is our bet still on?
Yes.
How much you want? You want to double that bet?
Okay.
$10 more.
Okay.
He'll be a Yankee. No way he's going to the Mets.
We'll see.
No way.
Well, we'll see. First of all,
Fuck
Jerome.
you, Mr. Steve.
Jerome, first of all, I got to go, but Jerome should know, and Derek Jeter's not going to be out for the whole season. With a broken shoulder, you can think that. I don't think Yankee fans ought to be thinking out for the season. Who knows already how long it'll be? It might be 2 weeks. Long enough for sure. Might be 6 weeks, but the whole season, no. That's
Sound, but of no mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome zone.
And I know there's no rubber room up ahead.
Happy birthday.
Well, it's not till Thursday, but thank you for that. I turned 79.
You know, if Joe is listening, that James Dolan is an idiot.
And Joe's listening, I'm sure.
This guy goes out and signs a coach who has done nothing.
Who's that?
Mr. Cheney there.
You happy for Don Cheney?
No.
Why not?
And then I read an article by McDyess says trade a first-round pick.
No.
You know who I want them to pick?
No, they don't. They better not trade that.
Because there's a center out there. He's from a small college.
Central
He calls
Michigan,
From
yeah.
Central Michigan.
Right.
He's 7'1", 255 pounds. He averaged 22 points a game and 12 rebounds a game.
Well, we're talking
And
Central
Tabar
Michigan.
said he is the college center that the Knicks need.
You would definitely.
I do not. And then I go out and trade Mr. Luttrell there and Mr. Thomas there. But if he trades that first-round pick, Steve, I am changing my team. And you can put it in the bank, and you tell Joe that.
Okay,
And I
will.
will talk to you and have a happy birthday.
Well, thank you, Jerome. That's mucho appreciado. And the bottom line is no. They must not trade that pick. If that 7-footer is available, and he's about the only center worth taking in the draft, you hope he doesn't turn out to be Eric Chenoweth or a Michael Wright. Or more Wright, of course, not the center that Chenoweth out of Kansas. Can you believe a center coming out of Kansas? And, of course, the Knicks would draft him, and he turns out to be more like a Frederick Weiss.
Oh, Steve, if the Yankees don't fix this damn bullpen, they're going to be in trouble. Why did he leave Weaver in when there was a 2-2 tie and not put somebody else in there?
Because, Jerome, he thinks about the bullpen the same way you do.
I'm going to tell you something. I heard Mr. Cashman on the radio the other day on one of the stations. Get rid of that piece of idiot Hitchcock.
Why is
Send him to Cincinnati.
Well, hold on a second, Jerome. Granted, they may be indeed getting rid of Hitchcock, but in his last 3 outings, he hasn't given up a run.
Steve, that's why you get rid of him. I don't care if you have to pay all the salary and pick up the $3.1 million for Gabe White.
Well, now let me guess.
I want a left-hander already who knows how to throw strikes.
Okay. What about Garcia? Is he coming back, Jerome?
I don't know about that. He's supposed to be coming back at the beginning of June, they said.
And you're not happy with Randy Choate?
No.
And what
If
about
they get
maybe...
another left-hander, he's out of here.
I thought you wanted either Scott Sullivan, who's not a left-hander.
No, he's
what
not available.
And what about Sauerbeck?
Yeah, but they have to get rid of Hitchcock. You got to get rid of Hitchcock or Randy Choate. And
Do you think... let me ask you a question.
2-2 stinking game, he doesn't bring in
Jerome.
Acevedo.
Jerome, do you think Hitchcock is hurting the team?
Yes.
But
They need a lefty, Steve. How many times are we going to go through this the whole season, and then in the playoffs they're going to filter because they don't have a left hand dunk on it?
because it's a challenge. Now tell me about the Knicks.
Okay, what's the story with McDyess? Is he coming back at all?
Well, I would say at this point in time, because, listen, this is how I've been led to believe, of course he won't be coming back.
Good. I hope he retires, and then we can pick up P.J. Brown and start him at power forward and put Kurt Thomas on the bench. And then I want 1 or 2 centers. The guy from Yugoslavia or the guy, Chris Kaman, who's 7'2". Jabbar says he averages 22 points a game and 12 rebounds a game. And he's 255 pounds. And then I want to trade Screamo for either Tim Thomas or what's the other guy's name? The guy from Atlanta. Big Dog Robinson.
Oh, yes, I see.
Which one?
Who was with Milwaukee? No, I would not take Robinson. I would not take him.
I'd take Tim Thomas.
Now, do you think Frank Layden is capable to pull off some of these?
I'm going to tell you who the assistant coaches are going to be.
Go ahead.
And I'll give you two names.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing and Starks.
And John Starks. That could be. And by the way, from what I understand, all three assistant coaches to Don Chaney who were let go were offered, from my understanding, they were offered one-year contracts, but all three of them wanted outs in their contracts, and here's the reason why they wanted outs in their one-year contracts that they were offered. They all want to join Jeff Van Gundy if within the year of those deals he was to get another job. All three of those Knickerbocker assistants who were let go, they actually were offered one-year contracts, couldn't get the out they wanted, and so they were basically terminated. But all three of them are likely to go with Jeff Van Gundy if within the next year Van Gundy is going to sign on with the team, and chances are he will. Michael is on the cell phone.
Well, Johnson, I would never trade Nick Johnson. Not in a million years, because...
You may have to.
No way.
You may have to.
No.
You want a good pitcher?
No, I would not trade Nick Johnson no way.
No.
Because this kid is going to be a star when he comes back.
I agree with you, but where is he going to play?
To put Jason Giambi at DH.
Well, Nick Johnson, of course, is that left-handed...
I'm telling you, Nick Johnson would have had that ball the other night.
You're probably right, and because he's left-handed already, this is more so a reason why you have to go for pitching more than anything.
They need another left fielder. I hate Juan Rivera.
Juan Rivera is going to be fine.
He's not going to be fine. He's hitting 180, Steve. That ain't cutting it.
I know, Jerome. I'm just trying to have a little fun with you, but I don't want you to
And I'm going to tell you something.
Yes?
I'm still sticking to my deal that Mr. Guerrero will be in a Yankee uniform right in right field, or either Sammy Sosa or him will be in right field next year. George is not going to let that happen.
You want somebody on your team, Jerome, who corks his bat?
Yeah, but there was a statement just now on your station he's not going to get fined or anything.
Well, he should get fined and suspended. He cheated.
I understand that.
And you know what happens when you cheat?
You get suspended.
Exactly.
Just like George Brett did.
That's right. And should we take George Brett out of the Hall of Fame because of what he did?
No.
And
I would love to see Sammy Sosa in New York.
Well, of course. What do you think? The Cubs are going to trade him?
No, he has an option in his contract where he can go anywhere he wants.
Well, and do you think he wants to play in New York instead of Chicago?
Maybe. How do you know that?
Oh, Jerome, he doesn't want to play in New York. He'll have a nice parade every now and then. He'll come for that.
They're losing.
What's that?
The Cubs are losing 4-0. There's only a tape of it.
How come you're not watching the Nets in San Antonio?
I'm picking San Antonio.
I am, too.
In 6.
Tell Beningo when you next call him that he doesn't know from what he's talking about.
Why? He's picking the Nets in 6?
Well, the reason he's picking the Nets and the reason he wants them to win a championship is because he thinks it'll get the Knickerbockers to take notice of what is going on.
First, they got to change that coach. They never should have rehired Chaney.
Well,
if Joe was on the premises, tell him I said that.
All right, I'll tell him.
Bye.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Okay, there goes Jerome. One of the few times that we talked to Jerome where he didn't hang up. 1-718-937-6666, the number to call, and Rory is on the car phone.
But of no mind. There's a rubber room up ahead. You're entering the Jerome zone.
Well, you have to be a little bit worried. Top of the second inning, first and third, and no outs for Boston.
Steve, I'm going to tell you something. They lose this series, I want changes.
Well, wait a second. It's the top of the second inning, no score, and they've lost the series.
If they lose this series, I want changes. I don't care what it takes to get freaking Guerrero in here. That's the first move.
All right,
the second move is get rid of that third baseman, Boone, sign Mike Lowell. The second thing is
Mike Lowell.
I want pitching.
I want you to do some play-by-play for me. Damian Jackson is up with first and third and nobody out. Top of the second inning at Yankee Stadium. Jerome, the microphone is yours. Give me a little play-by-play as Pettitte is pitching to Damian Jackson.
It's 1-0.
1-0 the count. And Jerome and Steve Summers here at the ballpark, ladies and gentlemen. A beautiful October night for Game 2. Andy Pettitte. Go ahead, Jerome.
As I was saying, I want changes.
Jerome, you're doing some play-by-play.
I don't care.
Now follow orders.
Changes on
You're not going to get any change. No, you're not getting any changes unless you do some play-by-play with me. Now, I'll try to keep it going between pitches.
1-1.
All right, 1-1 to Damian Jackson, but Boston threatening in the top of the second against Pettitte. And already, Jerome, Boston with 5 hits. Go ahead, Jerome, you pick it up.
Okay, Andy Pettitte sets. Throws to first.
That's right. So, yeah, that's right. There were 3 hits by Boston in the first inning as they loaded the bases with 2 outs. And Kevin Millar popped up to end the threat as the Boston Red Sox, as you know, Jerome, were to leave 3 on in the first inning.
You need a strikeout.
All right, go ahead, call it. Come on, Jerome. You don't sit there quiet.
Strike 2.
You're on the radio.
Strike 2 to Damian
All
Jackson.
right, Damian Jackson fouled it off at his feet. So the count is now 1-2. And Andy Pettitte ahead in the count, Jerome, pick it up.
Steps out of the box.
And describe what the crowd is doing.
They're clapping.
They're clapping, they're standing up. And Jerome, not mincing words, Jerome being as economical and as frugal as possible not to overtalk and be verbose as the host is doing. But there is no dead air in radio as you pick it up, Jerome, and take it away. Come on.
Set. The pitch.
Base hit. Well, Jerome has lost it already, and maybe the Yankees too. But they're only down 1-0. And that is the first, ladies and gentlemen. We've done 2 firsts with Jerome. I want to be known, when I'm all dead and buried already, I want to be known for 2 things. 1, getting Jerome's mother on the air. And 2, getting Jerome to not only do play-by-play, but to call a Boston run against the Yankees. As Damian Jackson, and we know this about Damian Jackson. Yes, he's a fine hitter. He just produced with first and third and nobody out in the top of the second inning. And that is the 6th hit, by the way, in 1+ innings against Andy Pettitte. And Andy Pettitte, of course, and now this looks like a game for those who recall, those who remember, for those listening, all 7 of you. Early September, Boston battered Andy Pettitte. But Andy Pettitte, of course, last week in Game 2 against Minnesota, this was...
Rebound with a delayed penalty in effect against the Islanders, and the Capitals have opened up a 5-1 lead.
Well, that wasn't enough. There was another one to make it 6-1. Nice debut for the Icelanders. Good thing baseball is going on. Good thing football season is underway, 5-6 weeks into the season already, because you don't want to know about the Icelanders tonight. It's a shame they lost to Washington by the score of 6-1. 1-718-937-6666.
This lady, the phone number to the visiting nurse service and to my therapist. I told him I ain't leaving here until I get somebody to, stay at my house for a while. If they don't want to do it, then I'm going to have to go to Medicaid, or I'm going to have to go to deliver a form, send out a form to CASA.
While you're there, Jerome, with all of this going on...
I'm watching the game there.
Of course you are.
I'm going to tell you something. After the season, I want Boone out of here. I do not re-sign him. I go after Michael because he's going to be a free agent. And I want a right fielder, Steve.
Maybe there's a 9th inning home run coming up.
No way. This guy cannot field, cannot hit. I was lucky to hit that home run off Boston. The manager had made the right move.
In other words, you would like to have Brandon Clausen back.
I wouldn't trade for him. I would have tried to trade for Clausen along with another player to get Mike Rowe.
What do you think of this game so far outside of Mr. Boone's fielding?
I've been living too many men on base.
As Florida gets itself a runner in scoring position, Jerome.
Yeah, he's got to take... I don't know why he's leaving in Mussina so long.
Well, we saw Dontrell Willis warming up, which...
No, I'm talking about Mussina.
No, I understand. I don't think anybody is warming up that I can see, that I have seen.
Yeah,
But I know that Willis... I know that Willis is warming up...
It's raining there like crazy. I don't know why they don't stop the game altogether.
Well, they might. It is coming down.
Okay, if they call the game, what happens?
Well, at this point, they would resume it. That would be my guess. They're not going to just wash away the game. I think they would.
And the Yankees should have won that first game of stupid Nick Johnson and got picked off. And the other one, who I blame the game on Boone. He should have thrown the guy out at home.
Well, I agree with you. No, I agree with you.
That's why I can't stand him.
Now, what about in the first inning of this game tonight with Garcia and Bernie Williams on the Pierre fly ball?
Oh, he's going to walk Pierre. I don't believe this story, and he's keeping him in there.
Well, maybe he is walking this batter, but I doubt they're going to take him out.
Why, Steve? The guy's...
Who do you trust to put in right now? Mussina's pitching a good game, Joe.
Contreras.
I'm not so sure I would do that at this point in time. I'd like to see Mussina get through the seventh inning.
Guy gets a hit here, I'm going to scream.
They're not gonna pull him.
A basketball question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerome. And they're not pulling him. Hold on, Jerome. The bottom of the seventh inning, 1-1, first and second for Florida, and 2 men are out. And Luis Castillo, Jeff Nelson warming up in the bullpen, Jerome.
Right. Listen, I got a basketball question for you.
Go ahead.
He's reading an article in the paper on Kurt Thomas that he's going to opt out of his contract. I think now is the time to trade him.
For who, Jerome? I'm sorry?
Van Exel, but Van Exel's hurt right now. He's going to have to wait a while.
I don't think they're going to do it, Jerome.
Why? Van Exel does not want to be in Golden State. He don't want to play there.
I think it's he doesn't fit the PR mold. He doesn't fit the community. He doesn't fit the community relations profile.
Board is not the answer.
I understand, but
Houston is wrong. Say, keep Ward. He's a good point guard.
Luis Castillo swinging and missing.
He's going to strike out.
First and second and 2 outs.
The Yankees got the top of the order coming up.
Bottom of the seventh, 1-1 the score.
Man, look at that rain there.
And that maybe helps Mike Mussina. What do you think? And Luis Castillo, by the way, Jerome, is really not swinging the bat very well. Do you think there's something wrong with him?
Maybe.
The count is 0-2 on Castillo. Now, remember, these guys, Pierre and Castillo, very tough to strike out. There's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him, Jerome.
Ooh, that was close. I was getting a little nervous there.
On a pitch in the dirt, he gets Castillo, who doesn't strike out very often.
The Yankees had a chance to score a couple of runs. If they had an outfielder who knew how to hit.
You do not want Contreras in this game or Jeff Nelson.
No, I'm talking about when the Yankees had the bases loaded.
And you know what? That looked like strike 3 to me. To Posada.
No way.
It wasn't ball 4, it was strike 3.
How about the pitch to Bernie?
Jerome, you got lucky on that call. Don't you think?
No way.
Yes, you did.
No, you
Because the pitch was over.
You're just a Mets fan who wants to see the Yankees lose.
The pitch was... I don't know. Listen, Jerome. I want to see... Jerome.
You're a Mets fan.
I'm a Met fan, but I want to see good baseball. And I want to see good umpiring. And that was a bad call on Posada. That was...
Well, let me hang up, okay? Because I don't want to keep you too long.
Why?
Because I'm getting ready to go to sleep. I'm tired.
How? You're not going to go to sleep in a 1-1 game, are you?
No.
No.
If I fall asleep, so I'll find out the final score tomorrow.
Okay. Well, listen, I want things to work out for you and your mom as well.
Yeah, and they got me on tranquilizers now, too.
Well, listen, depending on what time of day it is, you're on something all the time. The idea is to get yourself well. Do what the doctors tell you to do. And keep in touch, Jerome.
Yeah, I'll let you know through the office how I'm doing, Steve.
Okay, Jerome.
And say hello to Joe for me.
I will, definitely.
Bye.
All right, Jerome. And let's face it, he's got medical issues, as they say in the trade. And, of course, he's happy at the moment because Mike Mussina, for the second inning in a row, got out of trouble in a 1-1 game now at the end of 7. And they'll go to the Yankees in the top of the 8th inning. And, of course, it was in the bottom of the 6th, 1st, and 3rd, and no out first and second and 2 outs, and Mussina got out of it. Here in this situation, 2 were on again, and Mussina got Luis Castillo to strike out on an 0-2 pitch in the dirt. And no pun intended, but
Garcia is terrible. Juan Rivera is terrible.
No.
The stinking bases loaded with nobody out. I don't care what anybody says. I want Guerrero here, and if they don't get another outfield, their goose is cooked next year.
You have nothing to say about Derek Jeter hitting into 2 double plays. And there's Jerome hanging up on me already. And, of course, what else is new? He does that maybe 1 out of every 3 calls. Pavano and Pierre and Castillo will lead things off for the Florida Marlins in the bottom of the 7th inning. Now, we have a telephone line open. 1-718-937-6666. That's the number to call. I love this. This is called live radio in New York City. This is called the big time. This is where everything matters and means something. This is also walking a tightrope without any net below. Nobody's on the line. And I guarantee you that if nobody calls from here until 1 o'clock, I will keep talking and eventually might say something worthy. In the meantime, I'm going to give the telephone number. 1-718-937-6666 is the number to call. Now, for all of you, and I know many of you are right now, keeping a pitch count. You should know this that Roger Clemens threw 6 1/3, 8 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 99 pitches. Remember, 42 in the first inning. Carl Pavano.
They deserve all the congratulations. Did the Yankees hit? Well, maybe they didn't hit because of the Florida pitching. Anyway, Florida wins the World Series 4-2, and we'll get back with more.
Jerome Zone.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Jerome. How are you feeling?
Okay, they're going to change my medicine.
Okay, Jerome.
So I was listening to the halftime of the Knicks game,
Yes.
right? And something came across the wire. So it looks like David Wells has declared free agency.
Well, I don't think he's going to be back with the Yankees, Jerome.
True. Who replaces him?
Well, you got John Lieber, but
No, I don't like
you don't know
Weaver.
that.
And I don't like Weaver either.
Well, Weaver ought to be gone. I'd really be surprised. I know he wants to come back to the Yankees. That's understandable.
I got a guy to replace him.
Okay, who's that?
Milton.
Who?
Milton from Minnesota. They're not going to tender him a contract.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Yankees, Jerome. But hold on a second. If John Lieber, formerly with the Cubs, and of course they let him go, and the Yankees...
Yeah, but he's a right-hander. We need another left-hander.
I understand. But if Lieber can come back from the Tommy John surgery that he had, he's a former 20-game winner with the Cubs.
I don't care. He's hurt.
Well,
it takes 2 years to come back from that.
Well, you'll see how he performs in spring training.
Okay. Free agent pitchers on the market. Cologne. There's Millwood. And there's Ponson.
They'll probably end up with the Mets, Jerome.
Who? Ponson?
Not Ponson, please. No, I would think that maybe a Cologne. Maybe,
no way.
Maybe
George is not going to pass that one up.
Maybe Kevin Millwood.
The Yankees need another right-hander. I don't like Lieber and I don't like Weaver, and they need to get rid of Boone and just release him. I heard on ESPN the Yankees are also interested in that shortstop by moving maybe Jeter to third and putting the shortstop at the Japanese shortstop.
Kaz Matsui?
Right. There are 3 teams interested in him. Seattle, the Mets, and the Yankees.
Right. Well.
Okay. Now, with the outfield, there are several outfielders out there, and you know who I want. Either Guerrero. I don't want Sheffield. He's too old. Second of all, Stewart's out there, and I heard a rumor, I don't know if this is true or not, that Ichiro is going to option out of his contract just like Sosa is. If that happens, the Yankees have to jump on that guy. He is a great leadoff hitter.
No. Forget about those two. Suzuki will stay in Seattle, and Sosa will stay in Chicago.
I don't want Sheffield.
Well, then you don't have to have him. If you don't want him...
Sweeney is wrong because Peter Gammon said they're going after Guerrero.
How about this as your right fielder? Alfonso Soriano.
No. He stays at second, and I do not trade him.
No, I wouldn't trade him either, George.
I trade Nick Johnson and get rid of Weaver, even if you have to eat all the contract, and get rid of Boonson and Montreal for Vasquez, and go out and get a third baseman. Maybe Michael Lowell doesn't resign if he doesn't resign with Florida.
Well, Jerome, I'll tell you what. I think Mike Lowell, who was once in the Yankee system, of course, as everybody knows, would love to come back, as he told us a couple of weeks ago when we did a little interview with him here on the Fan, and he would certainly love to come back. When I asked him if he'd like to come back to New York, he wasn't even bringing up the Mets. He brought up the Yankees, and of course Aaron Boone should be gone. Jeff Weaver ought to be gone, but I wouldn't hold off. I would hold off at this point in time, if you're a Yankee fan, just discounting some contribution from a John Lieber, if, of course, a big if, but if he is healthy and does come back from the Tommy John surgery. This is a former 20-game winner with the Chicago Cubs. Ralph is calling from Suffern. Ralph, why is that, Jerome?
You know, I'm listening to MSG tonight. He still hasn't started negotiations with Pettitte's agent yet. When is he going to start giving this man some
I can answer your question. The Yankees do not want to set the market for Andrew Pettitte.
He already is asking for $13 million for 4 years.
Whatever. Well, let's see if somebody...
They put an offer on the table of $14 million for 4. Give him his money already.
Jerome,
and if they lose him, I'm not going to follow them anymore.
Jerome. The Yankees are going to have Andrew Pettitte next year.
Okay.
They just don't want to set the market.
I got a question for you.
They don't want to do with like what they did with Bernie Williams.
If you don't want to put Soriano at second, what about putting him in center field and putting Bernie Williams in left? Because I think Bernie's lost the step. And put Matsui in right and go get Vina for second base.
Well, Vina, and the rumor that he might come to the New York Metropolitans is just that, and I hope he doesn't come. He's 35 or 36.
How about Garcia?
Well, you know what, Jerome, to be honest with you, and let me just get this in and I'll give you the floor. The bottom line is Castillo looked awful during the World Series, and in the 3 games in Florida, he was 0 for 12 with the 6
Okay, then we
strikeouts.
keep Soriano at second. Who do we get to play right field? I don't like Juan Rivera.
Gary Sheffield.
I don't want Sheffield here. Why is he insisting on not going after Guerrero? The guy is the best right fielder in the game, and you know it, Steve.
Oh, yes, I certainly agree with you, Jerome.
And who is going to replace Mr. Wells, and who's going to replace Clemens? I don't like Lieber, and Weaver's got to go.
Well, you might go after Kelvin Escobar. We'll see what happens with that.
I heard they might go after Millwood. Or they're trying to trade Nick Johnson, Danny Burrell, and then they're going to replace Nick Johnson with T.J. Snow.
Well, that could be. Of course, J.T. Snow showing a great deal of speed against Florida on the bases. There's no question about that, as the Yankees would increase their team speed with J.T. Snow. There's nothing wrong with Jeff Weaver. In fact, on Halloween, for my costume, I was Jeff Weaver. I scared everybody in the neighborhood, including Jerry Recco, who was sitting by with a 2020 flash and update the whole thing. How about your Cowboys?
How about them?
Remember when the ultimate sacrifice was leaving home, heading off to war, defending America's honor, and paying the ultimate sacrifice for your country with your life? Well, earlier yesterday, and if your eyes didn't well up, you're not human. The Yankees held a press conference yesterday to announce Don Mattingly has paid the ultimate sacrifice. No, he didn't die, thank God, but he's gone to heaven. Because after all, what greater honor can be held by a mere mortal than batting coach New York Yankees? Yes, it's true. Don is paying the ultimate sacrifice. He's leaving the farm, the wife, the kids, the animals behind, who, by the way, are probably glad, all of the above, to get him out of the house for a while, but we can talk about that at another time. Tell me, as you listened yesterday, as your grandfather might have listened to FDR with the fireside chats, tell me you didn't get emotional listening to Yankee president and chief gopher for the boss, Randy Levine, introduce Donnie Baseball.
Don Mattingly is the quintessential New York Yankee. He belongs here, and we are so excited and so happy that the boss and all of us were able to persuade him and Kim to make the ultimate sacrifice to come back and coach full-time here with the Yankees.
Randy, if you're listening right now, you had all of us spellbound and speechless. And the Yankee greats were there yesterday. And among the star-studded Hall of Famers assembled, the great Mike Pagliarulo, as mentioned by Rick Cerone.
Also, former Yankee third baseman, great third baseman, and a teammate of Donnie's and a very close friend, Mike Pagliarulo.
Well, who's ever going to forget 87 when Mike hit those 37 homers? Coming only within 24 of Marison 61. A very emotional day yesterday for all of us who care about the Yankees and baseball and Don Mattingly. 12:08 and 55 seconds. That's the time on a Wednesday morning on the Fan, New York City. Steve Summers here and you there. Ray Martell on the other side of the glass, joined by Joe at 1 on the Fan, New York.
This season, your ticket to the NFL is the Fan. We're your flagship station for the New York Giants, Monday night and Sunday night football. The NFL now with Mike Francesa. In the Huddle with Mad Dog Christopher Russo and Boomer Esiason. The NFL in action with Ed Coleman. Plus, special Sunday afternoon.
I'm not going to follow this team anymore. When is he going to realize Pettitte is the best pitcher on that team?
He realizes that.
And he's going to lose 2 pitchers as is. He's lost Wells and he lost Clemens.
That's funny because Jerome didn't start rooting for the Yankees until 96, and now he doesn't want to root for them anymore.
This guy is a buffoon, Cashman. When is he going to make an offer to Pettitte?
Well, he doesn't want to set the market, Jerome. We have to go to the update. He doesn't want to set the markets. He doesn't want to end up bidding against himself. We remember with Bernie Williams, and there was nobody else involved in the bidding, and they overpaid for him to let the market establish itself for Pettitte, and then the Yankees will have him back, and I'll tell you why they'll have him back, because I think Pettitte wants to be back with the Yankees. 11:40. Thank you, Jerome, and take care of yourself. 11:41. It is a Wednesday night on your Fan. Don't forget Joe at 1, but now at 20:20 with Bob Usler.
Alone in his... No family, no friends, just a phone in the sports section. A man obsessively pondering the fate of the... You're entering the Jerome Zone.
The man is back from his...
Hi, Jerome.
Sorry to hear about your father.
Thanks a lot, Jerome.
And I sent a check in the name of Doris.
That's great, Jerome. If you did that, and
I
know
felt a lot better.
And I know how you are with money, but if you did that, that's a wonderful, great thing.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Mr. Steinbrenner here.
Okay, something new.
You know, this guy is making me annoyed. Every time I pick up the paper, Pettitte's going to Houston, Pettitte's going to Boston.
Right.
He's talking to Boston tomorrow.
Right.
Why are the Yankees waiting? What are they waiting for? You know, they're going to piss him off, and then he's not going to sign with them.
You mean to say, Tinkle, you mean to say, number one, first of all, Pettitte wants this. The Yankees knew that he was going to play the field.
He should have been signed 15 days ago.
No. You don't even have to worry. You really don't, Jerome. Seriously? I mean, all kidding aside here.
Okay, my second point is...
Okay, don't worry about Pettitte.
My second point is I don't want Wells back. He's too old.
Well, I don't think he will be back. I guess, listen, there's still a little bit
And why aren't they going after Guerrero? You think that's just a ploy, maybe to get the Mets involved?
No, they want Sheffield. You're going to get Cologne, and you're going to get Sheffield.
No, I heard Nick Johnson might be traded for Vasquez.
Well, to be honest with you, you should go for, or the Yankees should go for Javier Vasquez. He's younger and in shape and more of an upside. If the Yankees were going to go between either Cologne or Vasquez, I think...
And why are they going after this second baseman from Japan? And why are they going... Well, I don't want the Cuban guy, because the Cuban guy is 30 years old.
Oh, they may be living with Soriano back at second base.
I think they're going to put him in the outfield.
Where?
Center field, and you move Bernie to left and Matsui to right.
Well, it's possible. But if you get Sheffield, forget about it. He's going to stay at second base. And I think you're going to get Sheffield, the Dwight Gooden connection. I think Sheffield wants...
The guy's 35 years old. Why do we always have to go after 35-year-old guys? What has this guy done in the playoffs? He's done nothing.
Well, but I'll tell you what, they would rather have probably Guerrero, but Guerrero don't want to play in New York. You want to go for...
that's just a ploy because he's trying to get the Mets involved.
No, well, I wish the Mets...
Raise his price to $20 million. He ain't worth no $20 million.
No,
nobody's worth that kind of money.
No, but somebody might be foolish enough to pay it, and it won't be the Mets.
I'm going to tell you, he goes to Baltimore, he's not winning anything.
No, but that's the whole point. They have the money to pay him, and he can live and play.
He might go to the Giants.
No, the Giants aren't going to spend that kind of money.
And as relief pitcher, I want Troy Hawkins, and I want the guy from Minnesota, the closer.
Guardado, you mean? I don't think they're going to go after Hawkins, more Guardado. Why would Guardado wants to close, and he's not going to be doing that for the Yankees.
Money talks.
Well, we'll see.
That's why I want them to go after Guerrero, but that's stupid.
How are you feeling, Jerome?
I got a whopper of a cold, Steve, and I got a next-door neighbor who smokes incense, but I think she's really smoking pot in that apartment. So I got all kinds of pot, and I'm moving to a new apartment. I'm going to move down to the second floor.
Apparently, Jerome living next to Mrs. Timothy Leary.
Oh, please.
Or maybe you're living next to Mrs. Tony Tarasco, but I don't even think he's married. Jerome, take care of yourself, and don't inhale. Just exhale. That's all you have to do. Tom is calling from Brooklyn. Hello, Tom, the police officer. What's going on?
How you doing, Steve?
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm fine, but I got a little bit of a cold.
I didn't even ask you how you were feeling, but I'm glad to hear that that's all
I'm
it is.
not feeling too good, Steve, after reading that article in the Post. I'm going to take a
Well, hold on. Well, Jerome, hold on. At least build up before you hit your crescendo. First of all, it's only one man's opinion.